Hey, Nani.
How you been? It's been a while.
I know. I've been good. I've been busy and still doing my thing.
That's good. That's good. So,
Yeah.
we have a great show that you actually produced the information for. It was a little bit of my idea, but I think you did most of the work, and I think it's going to be a great show. So it's one of my favorite topics to talk about. That's why I threw it back at you. But I like the way you changed it from actual people that we know in our pop culture to just something more general, so we don't hit on those topics and get dinged for anything. But malignant beings, I mean, I get it. Malignant beings. I heard my other friend talk about them on her show in Spanish, of course, and I just thought it was a great topic. And she also made the mistake of going a little too far in with the information. She named names. She described what those two people were doing and how one was affecting the other. And she went, oops, I think I said a little too much. And I said, that's a great topic. We got to cover that topic. So malignant beings. So what do you know about malignant beings?
So yeah, I'm excited to explore this topic as well. And I think that you probably are going to be the leader in talking about this part of the episode for sure. But as far as what I know about however you want to call them, malignant beings, dark entities, negative attachments, what do I know about them? I know that they're out there. I know that they are feeding off of the energy um of those around us, or it can be of us. And it's something that we need to be aware of so that we can protect ourselves.
I agree, and I think the trend right now with which I think is very fitting, is that a lot of people are looking very frail, very drained, and they look malnourished. So I'm questioning: is it a medication, or is it something that is sucking and draining their energy? Without naming any names, I'm just keeping it general. When you make a pact with something for return of something else, it's gonna require something from you. And once it sucks what it wants from you, it's gonna ask you to bring more for them. And that's, again, without naming names. I think the audience can just make their own conclusions with that.
Yes.
These malignant beings, entities slash parasites, energetic parasites, are very real. And according to my friend's show, she says they are everywhere right now. Everywhere, because there's so much chaos, emotional chaos in our, not just in the United States, in a city, in a town. We're talking worldly. So it's kind of like a buffet when you think about it. It's an energetic buffet that we need to be careful, be mindful of. And this is why I thought doing this episode was very important, not just for the shock and awe of it, but because people should know it's not just going into a haunted house and having an attachment, taking an attachment home. No, this goes beyond that. This is a concert. This is a party you went to. This is a group of people you started hanging around with. They're everywhere right now. So I wanted to just go over um a lot of the traits and details to look out for, because we're so self-absorbed and self-involved right now that anything can slip by us and we won't even notice it.
So you're saying you feel like at this time in our at this time, um, that those type of attachments are more prevalent than before. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Okay.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting that you say concerts and like larger. Why is it at larger venues? Is it the amount of energy, or is it the versatility of the people who are attending, or what is it
Yeah,
exactly?
it's energy. It's literally you're walking into a power plant, a human power plant. And if you're the type
Mhm.
of parasite, an entity that requires that type of nourishment, then
Huh.
that's exactly where you're gonna go.
Mhm.
And they're not just looking for a type of emotion, they're looking for
Mhm.
anything, anyone that is easily, they can attach themselves easily to. So the more negative you are, the easier. It's like leeches,
Okay.
you know?
That was gonna be my next question is, so what type of, person or what are some of the traits that make you more susceptible to have these type of attachments?
Well, non physical intelligence that feeds off of emotional um, and energetic states are like they'll look for fear, anger, grief, confusion, anything in
Mhm.
that emotional realm and frequencies. But I mean, anything in joy and in love, they just avoid because they can't attach to it.
Like attracts like. So if
Right.
they're not vibing on the same frequency, then they can't penetrate that, for lack of a better word. I've heard it referred to, for example, if you wanted to listen to 95.9 FM, you
Mhm.
can't listen to what's on that station if you're tuned in to 6:40 AM.
Right.
It's a frequency that you can't understand or even hear.
It's the dog whistle, you know? Only dogs
Mhm.
can hear it. And if maybe it's a bad example because only dogs can hear it, but frequency. Frequency is very important. It's like like they say, birds of a feather flock together type of thing. So normally
Yeah.
angst, teenagers normally end up being in a group because they understand each other. You know. So just imagine that parasite going, hey, can I join your group? And it leeches off of them. So, and a lot of times it ends in depression. A lot of these people end up with depression. Go
So
ahead.
when you say that, like I definitely understand that it's an energy exchange, right? So this parasite is feeding off of the energy of the person that it's attached to. Is the person aware of this? Like, did they actually consciously make the decision to allow this to happen? Or is, do we understand that? No.
No, there are two, like the one I mentioned before. Where you're requiring something from it. That's a
Hmm.
conscious one. That's called a pact. You make a pact with
Okay.
something. You make a pact with something for in return to something else. Other times you're just a buffet. You're on the menu and you don't even know it. So over time you can feel exhausted, mental fog, mood swings, or even you'll feel drained, and not understand why you're suddenly feeling this way. So you're taking vitamins, you're doing everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there, and I could have been being. I was probably being drained by a certain type of people in my life, and
Right.
not realizing it because they were being leached on, and they didn't know it. So it's kind of like a daisy chain, a daisy chain reaction.
Yeah. And that will segue into my next point that I wanted to bring up, but I still
Okay.
want to flush out our topic with you leading this part of the discussion still. So it says, okay, so one of them is a pact. So making a deliberate, conscious exchange of energy or exchange of one thing for the other, right? And then the other one, is there a name for the other one?
No, it's
Or it's
just
just,
no. You're just a. I guess you're just a victim of it, or
okay.
you're not aware. So
And then how would you know, or what are some of the symptoms? I know you discussed a few of them already, but if we could just talk about those again, what that looks like. So tiredness,
drained,
weakness, frailness.
yeah, all of that. Foggy, drained, fusion, disinterested in doing anything fun. Probably get sick more than you normally do. Their defenses are down.
Right. Mood swings, self-destructive behavior, not
Correct.
feeling like themselves. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so then that kind of, you mentioned earlier, you're like, you didn't give specific examples, but you were alluding to maybe something going on in our pop culture, saying that maybe it's some type of medication that they're taking, like Ozempic. No, like, is that what's going on? Or are these celebrities just
I
withering
didn't
away? Or
know because if you look, I met people who were on that type of medication, and I'm
yes,
I'm sorry, I don't that doesn't fit the profile for me. And I know that
yeah,
in pop culture, the higher you are in pop culture, the more you have more resources available to you. So there's something I'm just I'm veering towards they're probably a victim, don't know it. They don't even
yes,
they don't even know what's going on themselves. And it I have a feeling like once that's done over there, they're gonna come over here. This
yeah,
we need to protect ourselves from any of it, all of it.
right.
I'm not saying stay secluded, stay locked in your house. It just means, be very vigilant and be mindful with who you hang out with. It's important these
Mhm.
days. It's not quantity right now; it's quality. And
Absolutely.
when you see a friend acting different or they're not themselves, you might want to be a good friend, intervene and see what's going on with them because they may not know. So
Yeah. There is a couple of cases right now in popular culture that are just glaring and undeniable, with not only the person not acting like themselves, but significantly not looking like themselves. Are you familiar?
yeah,
Yes.
do we dare say the C word?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, why not?
Well,
Uh,
so there
yeah.
could be some
Yeah.
cloning happening out there. And I might have
Okay.
what do you call it may or may not be true, but this is just my theory. If you have a clone and you're able to get a clone and you've now asked your clone, you take over for me. I'm getting out of Dodge. I'm going somewhere.
Right.
I'm done. So that could be going on. That's
Mhm.
without saying that some sort of group is killing off a lot of these people. I don't think that's the case. I think they're just their resources are in abundance and they're able to do what they can do and then get out of Dodge. So,
Right. Yeah.
I'm
It just
your feeling. I don't know. I don't know.
it's. I feel like in the case that I think that we're both talking about, it seems like that person was
Yeah.
pretty vocal about being unhappy or distrustful of the state of society at the time,
Yeah.
right? But and leading up to the transformation, I guess you would say, or the cloning or whatever happened. So it seems to me like if I'm in Hollywood and I am instead of and I have the resources to just take some extreme measure to get out of whatever situation I'm in, why would I go to such length to talk about it in advance and talk about the seem like some conspiracy stuff around surrounding what was going on in that person's life before they actually changed, you know? So I don't know. It seems strange.
Yeah, I think in regard, like if you were always in the spotlight, you're gonna vent without realizing you're venting to, someone's always recording in your life. So it's not like
Yeah.
you're picking and choosing the time to talk about it. You're just talking about it. You don't even see the cameras anymore. So
Yeah, and everything is so it's cut and shown in a way to us to portray whatever agenda needs to be portrayed to us. So yeah, who knows what's really real.
and
Uh,
it,
but
and it,
one thing, sorry.
no, I just want to end my thought. It's mostly confusion.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mhm.
Confusing. So go ahead.
Okay. Have you heard of this term walkout?
No, and I've heard of a lot of terms. Walkout.
So I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I've heard this term before, and it's when in a person's life when they decide or have felt like they're either like they've completed whatever they came here to do or they no longer want to be here, that you're able to walk out. So I guess like the soul leaves body and another soul or something else comes in to replace it. I guess I do have a little bit of experience, and I heard this term first from another psychic in reference to my dad. Yeah, so he just kind of like had a total 180 mentally and just kind of, moved, changed jobs, divorced. Maybe it's a midlife crisis, I don't know. But whenever I would, so this was a source of like pain for me in the past. So I've been through lots of therapy and I'm over it now. But whenever I in the past had talked about my dad to psychics, they would always say, he's passed over, he's crossed over. And I would be like, no, no, he's still alive. And so that's the way that he comes through, is that he's no longer here. And so I was told that that could have been a situation of what is called a walkout.
Okay. Wow.
So I, yeah.
Never heard that.
So just something to think about. Yeah.
I've heard of a soul transfer, but it's not the
Maybe
same.
that's it.
Well,
No.
no. If there's a
What is
soul
a
transfer, that means that someone else he's being pushed out of his own body for somebody else to come into his body.
oh,
That's a soul.
okay.
That's what I thought it was, but it wasn't. Um, you know, and I do kind of have like a little an inkling, a little clue about that, but I don't want to name names. I don't want to use names. So I'll just keep it in general. There's this older person where you can like see her traits, the way she speaks, everything. And then now there's another person much younger who you remember being a different way, but now she comes across as different. The speech is different. The way she speaks is different. And somebody made a connection. And I was like, wait a minute. What's really going on in our pop culture? What are they really doing? And if that's what they're doing, where is the other person? What are they doing with the other person's essence, spirit?
Yeah.
So I have a lot of questions about that. And
I have questions too, and I want to know who you're talking about.
yeah. Well,
Yep.
I wrote them in the notes. So they're in your notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Oh.
If anyone knows who I'm talking about, please put it in the comments. Yeah,
Oh.
definitely.
Okay.
I'm gonna text you.
Interesting.
And there's a reason why I'm not naming names. I don't want to get in trouble. And I don't want
Yeah.
and I don't want to knock on my door. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna text
Yes.
it to you.
Okay, cool. So then just one more thing I wanted to mention about negative entities.
There's an
One
interview.
switch for the other.
Yes, because
Or
if you got to look for I'll see if I can find it, and then you be the judge. You be your own judge. Again, anything that I'm saying here is obviously for entertainment purposes. We're
yes.
we're just two girls, having a good old time, chitting chatting. But yeah, just look at it yourself. I'll see if I can find it. And someone made that connection, so be interested. So if you guys know, say it.
I did watch a documentary at length on the latter of the one that you just sent, and
The younger, or the older.
the younger. And I watched a bunch of stuff in preparation for the original thing that we were going to be talking about, which looks like we're talking about it. A lot of the like childhood stars have similar experiences in Hollywood and are kind of, pushed to the point of exhaustion at a very young age where maybe they don't have the mental maturity to cope with it. But then additionally, it looks like that person had some physical problems and then also mental health problems on top of it, and has been very vocal about that. And I'm not saying vying for one side or the other. It's just it seems like this person is aware that they have a documented clinical diagnosis and treat that, and then also um yeah, just advocate mental health. But so it's like what comes first, the chicken or the egg, and that was actually going to be my next point to talk about is so how do we balance the paranormal with the psychological explanations, right? So is it trauma, is it disassociation, is it nervous system dysregulation, or is it, it raises the question, is the entity external, or is it a manifestation of something that's internal?
It's a good question. And it's an entity that already exists out in the world. in the spiritual or in the interdimensional realm that can seep in and out. And everything that you mentioned on psychological, it's all of it. It requires all of it. It requires dysfunction. And because even if you're healthy and you don't think you think all this type of paranormal talk and is nonsense, that doesn't make you immune to any of it.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So, do you want to talk to us about how you can protect yourself then from this type of attack?
Literally frequency. Train your mind to just every night. What I do every night is, when I'm ready for bed, I stare at the wall and I project all the bad things I experienced today, all the good things I experienced today, and I delete what I don't want anymore. I say, okay, that was a terrible experience. What did I learn? Okay, enough, delete. And then just leave that good energy. I want to sleep with the good thoughts, the good energy, so that nothing can touch me. Not in a dream, not in anything. So, I mean, I sleep like a baby when I let it all go. And that's something we need to learn to do. That's the only way we can protect ourselves. It's frequency against frequency. So when it comes down to it, that's what it is. We're batteries, and a lot of us are in decay and our energy, we don't understand how our body works, that this physical is also holding a very divine energetical being.
Yes.
So, and there are three parts in us: the soul, the spirit, and the physical. We got to take care of all three, and understanding that. I mean, that's just bare bones. That's bringing it down to the basics. So that's helped me a lot. I no longer suffer from any attacks or anything. I don't even have bad dreams. And if I do, it's far few. Maybe once a year I might experience something emotional, but that's it. Frequency. Take care of your frequency. Stay in joy and in love. Those two frequencies can help.
Positive states and positivities. When you spoke about us being as batteries being drained, it's very true that we emit an electrical charge, which is our frequency. If it's positive, then we are in health and in expansion. And if it's negative, then we are shrinking like dark matter, just taking up space. So I just wanted to bring that up. But I think this is a nice segue into the second thing that I wanted to talk about, if you're ready to go there now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about narcissism as a symptom of negative energy and negative attachments, and just wanted to make the disclaimer that I'm not here to diagnose anyone or to be a clinical expert on this subject. I know that there's a lot to this, and it's something that can really devastate lives. And so I want to treat that with respect as we're talking about it. But so in this sense, in regards to negative energy and malignant beings, um, there's two ways in which I want to think about narcissism having uh, and as being an extension of that. So on one hand, if we look at narcissism, and it's a scale, just like it's like any other psychological scale, there's traits, and we all have some sorts of narcissistic traits, but that doesn't make us all narcissists. Again, I'm not here to diagnose anybody. So some narcissists are become that way as a defense structure. So it's not just a personality flaw, but they've adopted this type of personality in order to protect themselves from some type of trauma or that they went through when they were younger. I'm definitely not excusing the behavior at all, but it's just the fact, right? So if they have an inflated self-image, they could be masking a deep insecurity. That deep insecurity could have arisen from some type of abuse in the past, or most of them show a lack of empathy. And this is a protective mechanism where they have felt so hurt in the past that now they kind of no longer feel, so that they don't have to feel. They're protecting themselves, right? So if I look at a narcissist. So the one way I wanted to frame this is that was there a negative entity, a malignant being on that person that changed them into becoming a narcissist? Now, hold on, before we answer that question, I
Yeah.
just wanted to say that we all experience trauma and we all go through things in life. And of course, some of us go through suffer more than others. But it's the way in which we react to it. And I'm not discounting anyone else's abuse or trauma that they've gone through, but really, what distinguishes an empath and a narcissist, they both went through this similar type of trauma. The narcissist decides to protect themselves and lash out against others. And the empath decides to internalize it and to never show that type of behavior to another person, right? So that's the start. So any thoughts on that?
Does a does a malignant know about the narcissist, or does a narcissist know about the malignant? Would be the question. Because if you're narcissistic, that could be how you grew up. Normally, it's the only child. Again, we're not diagnosing, and I know this based on past relationships where I ended up with a narcissist every time. They're only children, evil. And it's like
Sorry,
they're
I'm not laughing.
they're
It's not fun.
they
I
they
know.
they got off on hurting other people. That they expressed so much joy and wonderment when other people were suffering from their own like cruel jokes or just bullying or anything like that. But I think that the narcissist, just like the chicken and the egg, I think the narcissist came first, and I think the parasite, malignant parasite, latched on
I see.
because the narcissist was the source of here's the daisy chain, was the source of it brings me where I don't have to go chasing for, because anybody that this person comes in contact with is a victim. It's like you hurt them, and then so the parasite now attached to this narcissist is living like king, is rent free, if you will. So I think it's the narcissist that becomes worse, darker, when the parasite then attaches itself to
Right.
that. So that's my short answer.
Kind of going along those lines. So narcissists can be described as energy vampires or being possessed. And I do have experience with this type of relationship dynamic from the past, and it was very devastating. But I remember, so I just wanted to share like my personal experience, not my whole personal experience, but just in relationship to the paranormal, what I thought you might be interested in to hear my spooky stories about it. Yeah. Would be so, yeah, I very much thought that this person was possessed. I felt like it, at the beginning, this is characteristic of a narcissistic relationship, is at the beginning they portray something that they actually are not. They portray like you guys are a perfect match and there's all this love bombing. There's sort of like a following that these types of relationships have. And then there's a switch, and then they, discard you, and then they project all of their heinousness onto you. Uh, and I remember um, I had a dream. I had a dream, and I was in my house. This person was in my house as well. And I had a dream that this person was trying to take my daughter, and I woke up and just was screaming, and then I saw this person just washing dishes in the kitchen. I was just like, just don't talk to me, get away from me. Like it was just this moment. I'm like, who are you? Like this is like it was just very shocking to me. But I stayed, and then a long time later, I had another dream, and this one's kind of cool. I mean, it's not, but so at we were at the gym together in my dream. I work out a lot. So anyways, so we're in the gym and we're taking like a picture of the mirror. So we're taking a picture of us in the mirror, and I take the picture, and then I look at my phone to see it, and standing next to me is this huge shadow, just
No.
darkness.
Oh, wow.
that was so scary. And then, as as that progressed, that relationship progressed, of course, it did get worse, more worser. And I'm sure
Of
you've
course.
heard of, yes, the black eyes, not the black eyed kids. I don't think those are two of the same things. Anyways, yeah, okay, good. I don't want to talk about the kids today. That's the one thing that really scares me. If you want to see me scared. Towards the end of the relationship, when I feel like this person thought that they had lost control of me, because that type of dynamic is very much based on the con- the narcissist control over the other person, the narcissist manipulation over the other person, which we don't, on the other side, we don't willingly give up. So there's a fine line you walk, because you want to hold space for being a victim while also not playing a victim. Wait, does
Right.
that make sense? Like, I don't want to say like, oh, I am this way because of what happened, because I don't want to be a victim. But at the same time, what happened,
You're
still have real consequences.
recognizing what's happening to you.
Exactly. So anyways, so during those intense moments at the end, when that person had felt like they had lost control and I could kind of see through the veil of what was actually going on, then things progressed even more heightened, and the eyes just completely went black, and I was just staring into like a soulless person, and it was really scary. So anyways, that's something I wanted to mention, because I feel like if I've ever had a conscious encounter with a malignant being or a negative dark energy, I've seen it manifest in a person before through a narcissist.
Okay. So do you think that you were able to see the dark entity because of your abilities? Because I don't think a normal person, someone like me, would have seen that, because I've never seen that in a person. I just saw, golly, you're pretty messed up.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone's experience is different. I know that, so for mine, unfortunately, it lasted a very long time, from the beginning of our relationship to the definite physical separation, but it was a span of almost 7, 8 years. And so people have these stories where
Right.
they you're unaware. So I'm sure you've heard the term gaslighting, and it's control and manipulation. So they're controlling your reality, right? So they're gaslighting is actually a term that refers to back in the day, when we didn't have electricity and houses were lit by lamps. Are you familiar with this?
Yes. I don't know the hard definition of it though.
So I think there was a play that highlights this, but basically every night at dusk,
Hmm.
the husband, this house that didn't have electricity because it's like the 1800s, he would dim the gas lights, dim the lights in the house, right? Which were lit by gas. And then the wife would come downstairs and she'd be like, "Oh, why is it so dark in here?" And he would say like, "It's not dark in here. What are you talking about?" And challenge her reality, right? So
Okay.
that is a clinical explanation of what gaslighting, or not a clinical. That's an example of what it is, and that's a clinical attribute of narcissistic behavior and experience. Um, so I'm not sure exactly if I saw it because I'm more sensitive, but I wanted to share this with you, that people who go through that type of experience can go through years, can give up years of their life, like all of their good years, and then not realize what's going on until finally they have the aha moment. But that's also what's so devastating, is that you can go through it for so long. I did want to mention though that yes, I've always been psychically inclined, and um, wanting to study the metaphysical and interested in mediumship and psychic stuff. But I never thought I would have the gift. And during this phase of my life, when I was going through that really difficult time, is actually when I started to realize that I had those gifts. And so I feel like it's a combination of things. So it is clinically explained that when you go through that type of abuse, your brain changes. And I'm not going to tell you correctly all the brain changes, but basically your frontal lobe, which is, um, how you interact with the world mostly, that shrinks, and then something else expands because you're constantly searching for the threat, like looking for where the attack is going to come from next. And that doesn't mean it has to be physical. It can be, it's mine wasn't. So your brain changes, right? And so that's one reason why I think, oh, well, maybe that's why I started to have these gifts, is because the chemistry of my brain changed. So is that now allowing me to be more psychic, or is it because I was going through something so devastating to me, and that spirit, God, wanted to offer its support and show me that I'm not alone, and that, there's a reason why I'm going through all these things. So that's my comment, or my response to your question of whether you think that I saw those things because of my gift, or yeah. So I'm not sure.
Maybe it's like a person who's drowning and the body wills to breathe again. I think it reaches a crescendo moment where something happens, where you're in the dark for so long that
Yeah.
your your spirit being essence needed to see light again.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of like burst through the darkness, and it allowed you to see a little extra. So,
Right.
and you've kind of been walking that in that light since then, probably is the only way I could probably describe it.
It's a combination of things. So I did also want to mention that this idea of malignant beings has been spoke about throughout history, by like Carl Jung and his description of the shadow self. How do you feel about that? Is that the same thing, or no?
I haven't looked into Carl Jung, but I hear that if you're gonna look at any person who talks and thinks the way he does, he'd be the person to. He's the closest you're gonna get to what we're looking for as far as answers when it comes. What do you call that? Is it? It's not philosophy, is it? Is it what is
Psychology.
psychology? He's the closest psychologist when that is speaking truth to a lot of these theories. So I think anything that he says, I think I would say yes. Yes, you're walking shadow. I don't think he was just a psychologist. I think he was also a sensitive.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about him as well. I know a little bit, not enough to. That would be an interesting topic to discuss, to learn a little bit more, and then
Yeah.
about that. But all I know is that on the receiving end of that type of experience, that you look towards that person as pure evil, like just not understanding how someone can do that. And I think that's what, like, as an empath, why we kind of get stuck. There's that there's that symbiotic relationship between the empath and the narcissist that has been discussed throughout psychology and whatever popular culture for a long time. There's a lot of information out there on that. And personally, I guess I just didn't have the capacity to understand that someone could be so heinous. So I wanted to believe them and forgive them. But that was never the truth. Yeah, go on.
Can a narcissist destroy an empath?
Yeah, I think yes. Meaning, destroy as in what? Bringing
Go
them to.
to the brink of yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, a lot of in that dynamic of behavior, regardless if you're an empath or not, a lot of victims, I say, would are left in states that they never thought that they would be in. It's not selective in terms of who can be. You can turn it on, of who can be affected. I never thought that I would be somebody who would be at the end state of where I was when I ended, but I was. And by chipping away a little bit over time, that's sometimes even worse than one like big blow. For I know that doesn't make sense. So sorry, I got distracted. For example, if you got into an accident and you broke your arm, okay, that's one big thing that happened. That would be preferred over every day spraining your wrist for a month. Every day you're re-injuring it. You're re-injuring it. It's not as bad as a break, but it's a little chip over time. And that type of experience is harder to recover from. It doesn't matter what type of person you were. Uh, at the end, you're going to come out changed.
Well, there's like emotional exhaustion, loss of identity, self. Then you start to isolate. You're completely burned out as a person, and that empath is like, I'm done. A lot of them just kind of disappear into their own little existence. Yeah, because I think an empath always believes that they can fix the other person.
Yeah.
Because we feel so much. Now, I'm not saying I'm an empath, but I might be a little bit, but I don't, you would need
Yes.
emotions to do that. I've completely cut that nerve off. Nope. Nope. I don't ever want to feel again, ever.
I don't get that from you. I think you do feel.
Maybe I'm lying to, I'm gaslighting myself.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah. So what's in common between malignant energy and narcissism is perceived external control. So both of these types of situations from an outsider looking in, okay, is that person being attacked by something external? Is this person being overtaken by something external? And then control over others is usually a component of it as well. And this leads me to my next point. If you wanted to talk about the
Yeah.
next thing, are you ready?
Yeah.
So I wanted to take this to a larger scale and talk about a group mentality, specifically with cults.
Yeah.
How excited was I when I just said that?
Oh,
So yeah. So this is a this is a good one because it involves multiple people and control and manipulation over a large group of people. What is your experience or initial thoughts when I say that?
well, what comes to mind is like religion, of course. They're the biggest cults out there because they're using emotional manipulation, and in return for salvation, you must give something of yourself, which is your time and money, which is all they care about. Is your time and money. And I stay away from anything that's too cultish. That includes politics, college clubs, or anything. The PTA, anything.
They wouldn't allow you in the PTA
Yeah,
anyway.
words, it's all cultish because I believe people become inherently evil when they're given a little bit of power. Just a little morsel of power can destroy someone if they don't know how to control that, you know? And so
Yeah,
that's why I think cults are dangerous, because you give the person at the top of the pyramid all the power. They get drunk with that power, and then
yes.
whatever they say goes, and then the rest of them follow. And that's what makes it dangerous.
Absolutely. And I know we're not naming names. It's so hard, but definitely with religion. And I used to have a client who was of a certain religion and then was able to break away. And what she experienced from the fallout was so similar to what a narcissistic abuse survivor goes through, because it's the same tactics used to manipulate and control one person to manipulate and control the group. I think that's why it's worth mentioning. And also because you also mentioned politics as well. And I feel like this is relevant for a larger point that I'll bring up. But so a number of cults maybe are not the large denominational. They are. Some of them are definitely are the large denominational religion. But thinking about like the one-off smaller ones that are very different, have very radical beliefs. People who they're trying to recruit, or in a sense.
I think grow is the right word. Yeah.
Yeah. Join these organizations with intentions that are not evil, right? They're looking for community. They're looking for help. They're looking to give themselves to other people, for not to be exploited, but to help other people. And then their time is definitely, taken from them and used in exploited and used
Yeah.
inappropriately. And then um yeah, it's like a lack of having a lack of boundaries, or you're thinking that this person or this group is going to be something that's positive because that's what they're portraying, but then when you actually get into it, it's not at all, and it's not the truth. So
Yeah. I don't touch that. That's why I won't even go to church. Does that make me a bad Catholic?
yes.
But cults,
Yes, go ahead.
But the thing is, we can't get away from cults because they're hidden in everything that we do, everything.
Mm.
So again, protection. How you protect yourself from these predators and parasites, and you got to know that, like I told you off camera, I go, the reason why I watch what I watch is because I want to be ready. I want to know what it looks like. I want to know what it sounds like, how I feel when they're approaching. And we need, if you don't know that you're going to be on their radar. And if they can't, if you look like the person that, oh, I'm not going to waste my time with this one. She, not worth it. She's not gullible. She's not this. Other people are, like you said, looking and searching. They're looking for those, the ones that are searching and starving for community, for anything. And, oh, I mean, they can smell you a mile away. So
Literally.
literally.
So I guess so I think it's a valid point to bring this up, not only with religion, but you mentioned politics as well, which is something that I'm trying to pull myself away from watching because it's just distressing me and I feel
It's
like I have
dirty
no
pull.
control.
It's a dirty pull, and the only people that suffer are the citizens. That's it.
Right. Right.
Like with the
But
TSA, they didn't get paid because Congress wasn't able to figure out a bill, but they were still getting paid. So
Mhm. So, um, so basically, how these three topics that we discussed today, malignant beings, dark energy, narcissism, and cult tactics, how they interconnect is there's a control and loss of autonomy. So there's a perceived external control with dark entities. With narcissism, it's a control over others. And then with cults, it's a systemic control over groups. So it kind of shows how it can start with one person, but that one person affects the rest of us. So that's why I thought it was something of interest to bring up. And then, with my resurgence of getting into politics, which I'm not going to get into anymore, I'm just going to turn off the TV and turn off the YouTube and not watch it anymore. But and the reason why I'm disgusted by it is because I feel like I'm helpless and I'm watching something because I see through it, right? Like there's a lot of people who just blindly accept whatever they're being fed, whether that's on Instagram through it's all an advertisement. And a lot of people don't understand that, right? And so it just like when I'm watching the news or whatever, everyone has an agenda and a lot of us are not aware to it. And that's where it begins. The vulnerability begins to be overtaken. And if we can stop it with the critical thinking before you get to that point, then we could be safer.
yeah, because right now we're not safe. Nobody's safe right now. Um, do you want to make some predictions? Because I know that my friend made some predictions, and I'm okay to share.
Go for it. Yes, I'd love to hear. I tried to, but I don't speak Spanish that well. I tried to watch it in Spanish.
So I think predictions that she says are coming. We need to prepare. Are the grid is coming down, but she says, look, if you're prepared, okay, it's going to come down. The only time it's going to affect you is at night.
What does that mean?
The grid, the lights, the electrical grid.
Okay.
So, but with that, if it goes on longer, now we're talking food. Are you there? I think I lost you. Okay, so we had technical difficulties there, but we're back. Yeah, the grid. So we just have to prepare ourselves for the grid. Interruptions in the grid could last days, weeks, months, but once that being said, just have a little extra food, a little extra water, ways to protect yourself. That's it. Stay quiet about it. Because you don't know who didn't prepare, and they'll come to you because they want to feed their kids, they didn't prepare. And also, if you have like pets, make sure you have extra food for them, and everything. So, but once the grid comes on, it's like a whole new world, a whole new system has been reborn. So, and she also said, take your money out. Take some money out, have some in your closet, and just hide it away because there may come a time because the grid comes down. You might you might need to buy something. So who knows? But yeah, I can't. Uh, it can happen at any moment now. Before, when she was talking about this before, it was, oh, and we're talking 3-4 years from now. Oh, we're talking, and then finally we're at this moment. And here we are, with the wars and everything. Oh, she did say something about Israel. She said that when it's all said and done, Israel will not even exist anymore. It would be, the ground's going to open, fire, and it's going to be swallowed up, and it'll be gone. But I don't want to say more than that. So if something is blessed by something, that wouldn't happen. But if it's honoring a different deity, and you're trying to get rid of that deity, well, anyone can use the word Lord, but we don't know which Lord you're talking about. So, but anyway, that's way too political, way too religious for me. I don't want to get hate. I don't want to get hate mail.
No, absolutely not. But I
This
think
is the stuff I heard. Yeah.
it was a good discussion, and we framed it in a way that, um, highlighted some things to watch out for, symptoms to look for, and ways to kind of, protect yourself and avoid experiencing
Yeah.
type of stuff. So
Yeah. Well, Katie, I think this wraps up this episode. Just want to tell our growing audience, our new audience, please support our channel. Ghostly Tales Beyond the Story with Katie Wright and myself, Nani Mendoza. Just like, share, subscribe, and also comment. Commenting is also very important. We both want to hear what you thought about this episode. If you want to hear more, if you allow us to go more in depth, we will. We're not here to insult anyone. We're just here to have the conversation, paranormal and metaphysical. And she's got more insight on the other side than I do. I just have all the gossip. I just have all the paranormal gossip. So I'm like a parrot. I repeat what I hear. So again, I enjoy doing these. I know Katie enjoys doing these shows, and we'd like to record once a week, if possible. And just let us know what you think.
yeah, let us know what you think, and if you have ideas for any shows or topics that you want to hear us talk about, please submit that in a comment, or if you have an experience and you want to be a guest, please go to the website and submit. There's a place on the website, Ghostly Tales, where you can submit to be a guest. I actually have one for you. We'll talk about that later, but I have a guest for you.
Okay.
And then also go to my website, divineshinehealing.com, or which it's under construction right now, but it's going to be coming out soon. But I do, you can go to my.
And all your links are under the Ghostly Tales YouTube. Sure.
I was going to say, just check out the links. I do offer readings in person and remote. I do Reiki and mediumship and tarot. So let me know if I can help you. And thank you for listening.
Yeah, till I guess next week.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we also have the first episode dropping on this Friday, 7:00.
Okay. Yeah.
So let all your friends know that it's dropping. So I've already dropped 2 for Ghostly Tales, but this is Beyond the Story. This is a different. It's a different one. Okay. Well, till next time.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.